Welcome to the Style and Soul podcast, a behind-the-scenes look at the world of fashion, jewelry, and retail. Hi, I'm Jenny Livitz, owner of Pink Lagoon, a lifestyle boutique in Solana Beach, California. After being in the heart of retail for over 2 decades, I wanted to create a space where we could go deeper into the stories and personal journeys of the designers, founders, and creative minds shaping what we wear and how we live. From the showroom to the boardroom, this is where creativity and business come together and discover how to build a life with style and soul. Well, Paula Rosen, I'm so excited to have you on the Style and Soul podcast. Welcome.
Welcome to me. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I'm really excited. You're a veteran in the industry. You've been doing this a very long time. You have sort of like a legacy brand. I thought it would be really fun for our audience and our clients to just get to know you and how you got into this business.
Okay. What do you want to ask me first?
So how did it start? How did your journey in jewelry really begin?
So I was going to be a school teacher, and then suddenly, somehow, the Reagan administration got rid of all the new people. So I ended up in the fashion industry as a telephone operator. Then I was so good at it, they made me an assistant buyer in the children's wear. That's when they had buying offices for big department stores around the country, and also in London and France. And then I went from that to designing and pattern making and just starting all the way up. And then I had my own clothing line in New York and did that for 25 years. And then we retired, and my husband sold his business, and we came out here. And I was very reluctant, even though I'm a native-born California, I fell in love with New York. And so I came out here, and I was walking through the mall one day, and I took from then, after I retired, I went 7 years to the Art Students League, and that was really great. And then I won the Art Students League Red Dot Award, and then we moved out here. And so I was walking through the mall, crying, being unhappy, feeling sorry for myself. And some woman asked me where I got my necklace. And I said, I made it. I'm an assemblage artist, a mosaicist, and I made these out of pieces that I had. She says, well, I'd like you to make me some things for country western stars. And that's how it started, literally. And I did stuff for Lady Antebellum, and I did stuff for Miranda Lambert, and I did a whole bunch of country western. I would never been a country western star, but fanatic, but boy, I became one really fast.
Oh my God, that's such a fun story. Okay, take me back to your fashion brand. So what was the fashion brand called? Because 20 years is a career already.
Right,
So
it was.
like you've had multiple careers already. So tell me about that.
So I went to New York, and I started designing a line for a company that did primarily private label for the limited stores, which at that time only had 371. And then after I left there and started my own brand, they had 1,100 stores. And I had my own label in the limited called Paula for the limited, exclusively for the limited. And I did everything: loungewear, underwear, jackets, jeans, everything. And then I started my own brand, which was called PR Donovan, Donovan being my mother's name. And it became really, really successful. I was very happy, sold that, and then just retired and went back to art school and became a mosaicist.
Wow. So you really thought you were done, and then the jewelry just sort of found you.
It was so accidental. I went into the bathroom in the Beverly Center Mall. I remember this, crying. And I said, the only person that wants to buy something is a country western fashionista. And she said, then I told her who it was for. And she said, she's up for every Grammy Award.
Oh my gosh.
And so that was very exciting. I got very lucky.
I'm just curious, what's to go from fashion to jewelry is so different. I mean, similar, obviously, the industry, but so different from just a tactile point of view. So I'm I really haven't heard that ever. So maybe tell me a little bit more how that transition happened for you?
I think the Art Students League, after 7 years and doing all my mosaics, and I had them all over the city, and I had stuff going to Germany. I had done really well with the mosaics, that it became a really easy transition. Because if you look at the jewelry that I do, they're put together with lots of different things. A jewelry designer would never get hired doing what I do. Like one person makes the lock and another person makes the chain, and then one is one color, one is another color. It's not very basic. And that's only because of where I came from. I came from the fashion business, and I run it like a fashion business. I don't run it like a jewelry business, which is different too. So when people need things, I can deliver them within, well, only because we're a little shorthanded right now. We grew so fast, but normally I could do them in 2 or 3 days. Now it's more like 10 days, which is nothing in the jewelry industry. And I don't take that big margin that most jewelers do either. I run it like a fashion thing only because that's what I came from.
And that's what you know. And that's also
what
what I think, what I also find so fascinating right now as I'm learning even more about you, because that is so true. It is very rare to be able to produce the jewelry that fast to kind of, respond to the demand. And that's fashion is known for that, especially the fashion that you were in, fast fashion. Like get those places stocked. You know, watch it turn and refill it and all that. So that's so amazing. That's the DNA a bit of the business side of you. So what kind of inspires you right now, for your creations, like materials or looks you're really into? I'm just curious, like even for that first time, say Paula Rosen buyer, like what are the pieces you're like, that girl should get into?
Well, I'm known for my locks. This is a very tiny one, but I do great big ones.
Yes.
I'm known for my fascinating chains. And we do all of our own finishing. So we have a different color than most people have. The 14K overlay has a real 14 karat gold look. And we're known for our charms. Our charms are really fun. We do really fun charms. So, and it's kind of like a mosaic, but you can put it together yourself. I don't put it together. You could, the customer can put it together. And because we're pretty easy to work with, we can make them shorter. We can make them longer. If somebody really loves the lock and doesn't like the chain, it will easily switch it out. And that's kind of, I think, probably our customer service is really good. We try anyway to be really responsible and really, because we believe that we're in business with you. You're in business with us. And if you get, like if a store gets something that I thought was beautiful, but everybody thinks is just horrendous, and maybe some in a year, it might not be.
Right.
It just my timing sometimes is not exactly perfect. And my head moves so fast. So I kind of am learning to slow down a little bit with it and hold it back a little bit because I'm on to the next thing. Because I had retail stores for, I guess I must have had them for about 8 years, and I had 7 of them.
Were they jewelry retail stores?
They were clothing. They were when the Peanuts jean was so popular. You're probably not even old enough to remember.
What were your stores
It was
called?
called Jeffrey's.
Okay.
They were all in the South. They were in Louisiana, Mississippi, Florida. And we had turnkey operations in big shopping centers because we were so popular. I had taken a concept from California that was called Country Club Fashions. And they took all these really great armoires and made them into, jean bars. And we had Betsy Johnson and we had all this really great stuff. In fact, the stores were so busy that on Saturdays, there would be a fireman standing at our door in our home of Louisiana, checking how many people went in and how many people came out.
Was the stores after the fashion brand that you sold, and then there were the stores, and then there was Paula Rosen, or did you have the stores during Paula Rosen?
Wholesale stores, wholesale again, to Art Students League and jewelry. That's kind of went.
So it was in between the stores. It was after your fashion line is when you did the stores.
The stores were a long time ago. The stores were after the first time I started in the industry. And then I married a young man who had these stores, and I ended up taking over the stores.
Got it.
And then when I decided we had a disastrous didn't happen. And so we sold off the stores. A couple went to a chain called Casual Corner. Couple went to, a woman who wanted to be in the industry because some of them were freestanding. Not all of them were in shopping centers. Mm-hmm. And then from there, I went back into the wholesale business and then my own brand.
Wow. What an incredible journey you've had. I mean,
I'm so old.
No, I mean, it's so incredible. What did you like about having stores And what did you not like about it?
The stores were really fun. They really were fun. And I got to know Betsy Johnson really well. I got to know a lot of these people, because the stores were so good, people wanted to be in the stores. And I made friends with a lot of people there. And the thing I didn't like about them is because some of them were not freestanding. They were in shopping centers. They were open from like 10 in the morning till 9 at night. And it was hard even then to staff them. And I always felt uncomfortable when they were open and there were so many of them so far apart. I think that's what I didn't like about it. And I was really happy to go back into the wholesale end of it.
Yeah, I
But it
know.
gave me a real appreciation for my client because
Right.
I know that, like, you have the same client coming in weekly or monthly or however, they don't want to see the same thing all the time.
Right. I mean, you
So,
really do have an understanding of what us retailers go through, and you understand it on a major level. I mean, owning multiple stores is so much work. I had 2 stores at one time, and it was a different beast, even just one more store, having to keep it open and staffed and merchandise and the whole thing. It just, I know for me, it was like I felt like an HR person instead of like what I really loved about owning the stores, which was like creating the mix and the vendor relationships and everything. And that part is challenging, to when you're always just worried about being opening and closing it, from just like an operational standpoint, let alone all the creativity that actually makes a store, work day
yeah,
after day.
it's hard work.
Yeah, I don't know why that name
Appreciate-
Jeffrey sounds so familiar to me. I feel like
There was a Jeffries in
okay,
Texas,
right,
but that
in New
wasn't
York.
me. That
Okay,
was
that was a different one. Okay, that one I remember, but
but we had a whole relationship together, that group. So
okay.
we would buy Frank Olivier together. That gave us a little more power at the
Yes.
beginning. So that's how we started.
Yeah. I kind of remember that learning about that as like there were these like really, I want to say almost powerful boutiques back in the day that together operated from like a
Right.
buying standpoint to have the same buying power as some of the department stores so they could really like be competitive with
Yeah.
like their brands and stuff. So amazing that you did all of that. And I mean, just the business acumen that you obviously have and also such a creative, like how do you balance that?
I'm not so great at the business part of it. When I get myself really stuck, I have a really nice life partner who's really smart and he helps
Helpful.
me a lot because I sometimes get a little overwhelmed. I'm not a spreadsheet is something that just mind boggles my brain when big stores come to, with all their classifications and all the
Yes.
SKUs and everything. I kind of like my eyes start spinning, but he kind of keeps me on the straight and narrow. It's very hard to have right brain and left brain. And when
Uh-huh.
they're all both working at the same time, then you have no brain.
Yeah.
You're just like fried. I mean, after the last fashion trade show I had in New York, I was definitely fried. I mean,
Yeah.
it was absolutely sensational. It was great fun, but it was a lot.
Yeah. I think for all you listeners who are not in this industry but love this industry, or you wouldn't be listening to this podcast, I think a lot of it can look very glamorous, but it really is a lot of work. It's a lot of stimulation. There's a lot coming at you from so many angles. It is really fun, but it's also very draining creatively and just socially because there's so many moving parts.
There definitely is. I mean, I like it though. I do. The one thing I love about jewelry, which is opposed from clothing, is jewelry fits anybody.
Mm-hmm.
It's any age. I mean, I don't have an age limit. I don't have a size limit, and that's kind of nice. And I don't really follow a lot of the trends. I mean, I'm aware of them, but I try and stay within my realm. I don't want everybody. I just want somebody that will appreciate art to wear. And that's kind of like what we did. Anna Wintour started that gala thing to show that fashion really is a form of artwork. And if you go to art school, they'll tell you everything is a form of artwork. A magnifying glass is a form of artwork. So everything's got to be designed.
That is so true. So what is like a design? When do you have time to work on your designs and how often are you releasing new designs?
I release new designs all the time, which is what we're trying to do on the website. We're trying to make it easy for our client to see, because I'm moving so fast that we're going to have a section just for the retailers to see the new upcoming things, so they don't have to wait for a trade show, so that they can keep their inventory fresh and keep moving it out. So that's what we're working on now. That's one thing. And I think I come up with new designs almost every day. My best time to work is, I'm a big fan of Julian Schnabel, and his best work is done in his pajamas. So my best work is done in my pajamas. And it's pretty cool. I like to work early in the morning. I like to work late at night. And that's kind of how I do. And the weekends are great for me because I'm all by myself.
That's when you can channel whatever creativity is coming to you. And then you're cozy because you're in your pajamas and you just flow through you in a more,
Exactly.
I love that. I love that. What does a design day look like for you? Or is it just on in the morning or at night? It's not like a structured thing for you? I'm designing right now.
It isn't structured. However, it does, because of the timing. I get up very early in the morning. I work in my studio at home. And then at 10:30, because my girls don't come in till 10:30 and they only work till 4.
Right.
And the reason that is, it's very intricate work. It's very exhausting.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of parts to it. And it's not like a contractor where they go. I mean, the one bead will come from somewhere, the other bead comes from somewhere else. And, so they have to collect all these things together and put them together. So by the time 3 o'clock comes, they're pretty well fried. Right. And we all eat lunch together. And that's when we kind of look through our Zooms and our things. And then in the meantime, we have to talk to our customers.
Right.
So that's what our day looks like. And then when everybody goes home, that's when I kind of clean up my desk, which I haven't done yet, which you are not allowed to see. But we saw Sarah Lagerfeld's desk and it made mine look clean. Then I'll clean up my desk and I'll start again the next early morning. And I love it. I mean, to me, it's an art form. It's very much like my mosaics.
Yes. I want to hear more about your mosaics.
Oh, I love my mosaics. I got to do a lot of them. I find things and just use them and put them together, and they're pretty cool.
Are they large scale or are they small?
Some are big. I did the one that I did for the Art Students League that won the award out of 2,600 students was a table and 4 chairs.
Wow.
And, a small, square table with 4 chairs. And the 4 chairs went to Germany. And the tabletop I kept because I just wanted it for myself. So that was fine. I don't think I have anything here, but I do big bowls, huge bowls go on coffee tables, and I do a lot of pinch mosaics. That's a form of my life you didn't know about. I did ceramics for a while and did a whole thing for Henry Bendel before it sold out to the limited. And I did this was oh gosh, this has to be 30 years ago. I did black and white dishes, which were just sensational. I have those handy if you ever want to see them.
I do want to see them. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, I'll show you one. Stay right there.
I'd love to see.
So these are 30 years old. So this is what Henry Bendel's had.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
And these were the salad plates. And they came in 3 different designs.
Incredible. You're so creative. You're such an artist. I mean, that's what I'm really discovering. I know I've gotten to talk to you a little bit, but even just in having this conversation through the podcast, I'm really putting it all together, how your jewelry line is this manifestation result of so much artistry, schooling, work experience, retail experience, wholesale experience. It's just boom. So how long has Paula Rosen been around now at the jewelry line?
This will be our 13th year. The first year, everything fell apart. I had no idea what I was doing. I thought jump rings were supposed to go like this. So every time you go like this, you get back together. But the clients were so great. They liked my stuff so much. They said, there was a store called Traffic in the Beverly Center, which was fabulous.
Yeah.
I love traffic. And they were so nice to me. They said, it's falling apart again. And they were great about it. Then I'd just go in and fix it. And the client was fine with it, and I explained, this is something new for me. I don't know anything about this. And they were great. So I'm starting to rekindle some of those pieces that I did. And your store will have a couple of them next week of the original kind of like I took all the Eisenberg ice and there was a big building in New York that was closed, and they had 5 floors of rhinestone jewelry from the 40s and 50s. And I bought buckets full. So I'm starting to do those again.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think what's also really inspiring for people that are listening is that, I've had other designers on the podcast where it's like, you can start again. You can figure out what your passion is. You can do one thing and then you can switch lanes. And I think you've really done that so well. Like, you've tried things, they've worked, they've succeeded, and then you've moved on and started entirely other things and took all that knowledge and put it towards, this new brand. It's really interesting to me.
I love the jewelry. I really do. I think it's fun. I love to see people's faces when they put it on. It changes their whole experience. It's not like clothing. We all are unhappy. We're either too thin, too fat, too short, too tall. Our hair isn't this way. It's too straight, it's too curly. But when you put on jewelry, you forget about all that stuff and you just look at what you got on and you feel better.
It's totally true. It's so personal, and it does make people or women, it does make us feel so good. What has been like your greatest lesson so far? Like it doesn't even have to be through Paula Rosen. Like, what's been like your greatest like lesson or something you've learned along your journey that you would want to like pass on?
Go slower. I try and do everything so fast that I make a lot of mistakes, and I'm learning that now. My daughter is teaching that to me. I gotta slow down because I'm so eager to have someone be pleased that I'll rush it through and I'll forget something or I won't do it right. Or so yeah, I have to be a little slower with the way I conduct my everything. My business, my life, everything. I just have to take it a little more, give myself a little more time.
I love that one. Slow down. What are people saying so much right now is slow down to speed up. Like, in order to like get to where you're trying to go, you actually do need to slow down.
Absolutely. Because by the time you backtrack with what you've done wrong, it's twice as long as it would have been if you would have taken it slower.
Looking to refresh your wardrobe with pieces that feel as good as they look? Come visit us at Pink Lagoon, a lifestyle boutique in Solana Beach, California, where fashion meets intention. From curated clothing and jewelry to elevated essentials, we help you find your unique style with soul. Not local? No problem. Shop anytime at pinklagoon.com. That's www.pinklagoon.com. Come and discover your new favorite look today. With that conversation, like, what are some things that you do even just personally to stay like as so high functioning, so motivated? Do you have any practices in your life that keep you just working at the pace you do for so long?
I think so. I meditate like around 5:30, 6:00 before I start the meals or whatever. I mean, I'm not the cook. My husband is. I do the presentation. He does the cooking. So I'll go upstairs and I'll just lay down on my yoga mat and just kind of like,
I love that.
Still. Don't do anything and listen to some really wonderful classical Joshua Bell or, Dudamel or something, classical music. Lots of times I live near the beach. So I'll go to the beach and just sit on the sand. I'll do that when I'm really, just have to collect myself. And I love to listen to music. I mean, I love music, all kinds, every kind. And I have it all. I mean, I have it turned off, but I have a Sonos in every room. Bathroom, yoga room, everything. There's a Sonos in there.
That's great. So those are some of your habits to like stay
Yeah.
so grounded and inspired, like you said. But I think that's really great, the whole slowing down. And I know, that's that generation too. Like we're like recovering from being parented by that generation of like, our performance and everything that we do is what matters, and like following through for people, and like, pleasing people. And so it's like it's a recovery process to like slow down and feel like our worth isn't just like what we produce.
Exactly.
And that's like
Exactly.
a hard thing to sort of come to sometimes.
Very hard, especially if, when I was parenting, which I don't anymore because they're all grown.
Right.
But that was really hard, because you're in four different directions. It was much
Yeah.
easier in New York because everything was so close, but in California it was a lot tougher.
Did you raise your kids in the city?
My daughter was raised in the city until from the 11 till she was in college. She went to the Rhode Island School of Design. My son was raised in the city till he was about 11. And then he came to California, and he's a real California boy. He went to New York and went to work for his cousin, Andrew Rosen, who owns Frame and
Yeah.
and Olivia and all those things. And he worked there for about a year and said, I hate it here. I want to come back to California. He loves California.
I was gonna say, so are you kind of a bi-coastal person, or are you
Yes,
now a
yes.
California? Do you just love California, or do you really love both?
We have a place down 66th Street and in Manhattan, across the street from the Juilliard and Lincoln Center.
Uh-huh.
And then we have a house in Venice.
So you are both places.
Both places.
Do you have a favorite place, or do you like both?
They're so different. The weather in California, you can't beat. The art in the museums and the culture in New York, you can't beat. Although we have a lot of really good stuff here in California, it's much easier in New York because it's all so close together. I love to walk, which is one of the reasons I live at the beach. And so New York is great, and so is the beach. My husband would never leave California again. He's an East Coast guy that just fell into California and just loves it.
Yeah.
So
Because it is amazing here. And yeah, I do love the walkability though of the big cities. Like that part,
yeah.
is so enjoyable.
And we have a house in Rancho Santa Fe, which
Right.
he loves Rancho Santa Fe. He loves the restaurants. He loves the vibe. It's really quiet.
It is very quiet here.
Yeah, he loves it. So we come down on a lot of weekends. We haven't been down the last few weekends, but we like to come down on the weekends, and it's nice. It's very simple. Just getting in your car and going anywhere is easier.
Yes, in LA for sure. What advice would you give some younger designers entering the jewelry industry today? Like any wisdom you could impart on them?
Be on time.
Ooh, I love that.
Work hard. If you have to work late, don't complain about it. Learn everything you know about your craft, which will give you the confidence you need to perform what you need to do, whether that means taking classes online, whether that means just knowing. I mean, I try and know as much as I possibly can about the industry as I know about all the new finishes, about all the new plating, about all the new prices for gold and prices for silver. You can't just sit back and let things come to you. You have to be aggressive, but be on time. Nothing is more annoying than people that are not on time because it's so disrespectful to the other person. And be prepared for what they want and try and anticipate what the boss is going to ask you. If you're working on 14 karat gold, then make sure you know everything about 14 karat gold, and you'll get raised in the industry so fast.
I love that. I think that's really good advice. And what I'm picking up from you is that no matter what age you are, you're always a student. You're always learning.
Always learning. I mean, because things are changing so fast.
No kidding.
I mean, not only in the industry, but in all industries, everything is moving fast. So you just have to find a time that you can kind of pick up, maybe take an hour or two on the weekends and just figure out what is going on in the world. So, the tariffs, that's hurts the industry. How do you make it so that the tariffs will work for you? That's, instead of saying, oh my God, the tariffs are going to kill me. They're not going to kill you. You just have to figure out how it's going to work for you.
Yeah, you have to adjust. And, you and I have talked about this, but can you talk to our audience a little bit about Paula Rosen, the brand, and how it sits in this jewelry industry? Because what I love so much about the brand, especially as a longtime retailer who does a very big fine jewelry business and also has costume jewelry, is how it's that really beautiful sweet spot that Paula Rosen is sitting, where it's using fine metals and stones, but it's sterling silver and it's plated, but it's not as expensive, say, as like 18 karat gold all the way through with, semi-precious stones and diamonds. Like,
I think it started out because every boyfriend, every husband, everybody always gave me these fine jewelry things. And when you get fine jewelry, you feel like you have to wear it all the time. I get really bored with seeing the same thing every single day. I don't care if it's a 6 carat diamond. After a year, I don't want to see it for a while. I want to put it away and wear something else. And that's another thing. Women don't want to spend that kind of money because they know it's going to come as a gift from their husband. So I decided I'm going to do stuff that is really cool, that still has some sustainability, that will be good in 10 years, that we can afford, that we don't feel uncomfortable. It's the same as a jacket or a coat or a nice sweater. And that's how it ended up. It wasn't done intentionally. It was just done because I know that if I have something like, I love this and it's very, very expensive, but I don't want to wear it every day. I don't want to do that. I don't wear the same sweater every day. Why should I do that? And that's kind of how it's happened. And then I did some 14K and it was really beautiful, but it's so expensive. And because my stuff is sort of a little bit edgy, it wasn't the kind of thing a man would buy for his wife. Some of my biggest months are January, when everybody brings back the stuff the husband bought him and buys what they wanted. And so, because I did a lot of business with Fred Siegel, Ron Robinson, and my biggest months were January because they'd come in and they buy all this stuff. And, men want you to think that the little dainty little things, little hearts and stuff. But my hearts are black, that's not going to be what the husband's going to buy for the wife. But I mean, that's how I ended up in the middle. And now it's really a good idea. And then when I saw 14 carats slowing down because I had it, I really made a big investment in learning all the finishes and figuring it out so that I could do really nice finishes, not the kind that are done in China, or they're just not nice. The colors were kind of like gaudy. And I mean, if I'm going to do something gaudy, I want it to be in your face gaudy. So that's how it happened.
It is perfectly in the middle of fine jewelry and costume jewelry. And I think it's really smart right now with the price of gold. And like you said, women are self-purchasers too, and not leaving them out of the equation when it comes to buying something beautiful for themselves.
One of the interesting things is, especially in California, everybody wears t-shirts and sweats. And so if you want to make the t-shirt look a little better and the jeans look a little better, you just throw something around your neck and it's fun. And that's kind of how it happened. I mean, it just kind of evolved that way. So
yeah, the California look is so jeans and a t-shirt and great jewelry and cool jacket, great shoes, handbag.
Right. It's not that different in New York either.
Yeah,
Really,
you're right.
really expensive handbag, really cool tennis shoes or boots, and jeans are, I mean, the only people that wear suits and ties anymore are, executives that have to, and they don't even have to go to work anymore. So they're in jeans and t-shirts too. During COVID, I sold a ton of jewelry because everybody was doing Zoom.
Right. And everyone wanted to adorn themselves just
It
from
was
fear
crazy.
up. Yes.
I had some woman who had a Filipino food truck in Alaska that found me on Instagram, bought all the staff that I had put on the Instagram, and it came to like $4,000. And I thought, oh, she'll never buy all this. She says, I'll call you back with a credit card. And she did. And she became a really good customer all through COVID because she had this Filipino food truck and she would go to all the different neighborhoods.
I love that. I think that's such a great story. Okay, so what's sort of next on the horizon for Paula Rosen jewelry? Like, what are some of your new collections or creative directions you're going, or what are you excited about?
I'm going to show you what I'm making. I think I've got them on okay with you.
I was just talking to my team recently about, like, I was listening to some podcast and was talking about what makes us truly happy. And it wasn't like money and it wasn't all these other things. It was about making progress. And that really like resonated with me and my team because I was like, it's always about just like being better than you were last year or challenging yourself in a direction where you feel like I'm making progress. I'm growing. I'm learning. I'm going in the right direction. That's what gives us this like sense of happiness. So I'm always like curious with other entrepreneurs and designers, like what's making you happy? Like what's driving you at this stage when you're already successful and you've already done so much that you can feel so proud of?
I really like organic kind of things. And so I'm starting to play with
Ooh, those are so cool. Like beads.
but they're all
Texture.
handmade, and some of this is coral, and this is a cultured pearl, and so I think these are going to be really fun to do. This is actual coral,
Yeah, I love that.
and
It's so great for spring even.
yeah, for spring and the
Yeah.
summer, because everybody's gonna. I think they're going to want to have a few changes, and see these. These are
Yeah.
sapphires.
Gorgeous. Wow.
Yeah, so
Very
that's one of
cool.
the new things. I did these really fabulous ropes. Here, I'll show you. And these are really, really long,
Ooh, very cool. Wow.
and that's all coral. That white, that's all coral. And so they look very mosaic-y, and they
They
come.
really do.
And then the nice part about them is I put a magnet on all of them. Let's see if I kind of try and hide them so that you don't see it. See this gold? This is coral, natural
Wow.
coral.
Beautiful.
I've just got boxes full of stuff. It's just crazy.
And are you just sourcing from all over?
From wherever I see it, beautiful stuff.
Yeah.
And then look at this is a coral branch.
Wow.
And then we put these magnets on them.
So this is a very different direction for you, right, Paula? Because
Yeah,
this
but
is
they
much
look
more
great.
chunky,
They
and
look
I know it
great
looks great with
gold
what you have.
chains.
Yeah.
And my son-in-law is a rock and roll photographer, and he just took a whole bunch of these pictures, and we did all the gold beads, the little gold hill beads, and
Yeah, I love those
pearls
beads.
in them. And then we just put chunks of stuff like this with gold beads and gold chains. So all
Amazing.
gold chain and all the charms and everything will all mix together.
I love it. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
it's fun. I mean, I love pearls. We bought all these really beautiful, really organic looking pearls. So I think they'll be fun. I mean, we'll see. I mean, I'm not going to show them until next year because I know it's too soon, but
Right.
you
But
can
you're
see,
working on them.
you can see everything has an interesting look to it all. And
Totally.
it looks very much like my mosaics. So
Very cool. Very cool.
yeah, I hope people like them, and we'll do them in all lengths. But the thing about these, that you can wrap them around and make a big choker out of them so that they're
Right.
exactly the right length. And so that's one of the things we're working on. And then we're working on new locks that open from both sides. And I don't know if you saw the little stirrup. You're going to be getting that next week. The little stirrup opens up, and you can put all kinds of charms on it,
Charms
and
on
it
it.
opens from the top so you can stick it on a beaded chain if you want.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think it's going to be fun. I mean, it's exciting. I like it a lot.
So I always like to ask at the end of my podcast, because it is the Style and Soul podcast, how do you make sure you're living your life with style and soul?
Look in the mirror and see if you're smiling. If there's a smile on your face, you must be happy.
Yeah. And doing something right.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell your face and your eyes tell a lot about you. And when you're sad, you have a different look, your posture. That's how I can tell if I'm happy. And when my family is all fine and we're all together, I know I'm really happy.
Yes. That's the best. Well, Paula, it was so much fun to talk to you and have you
Thank
on the
you.
podcast. You're awesome. You did such a great job.
Oh, please, I'm not so good at this sort of
I thought
thing.
you were amazing. I honestly did. I was like locked in the whole time. You did a great job. It was a
When you
great.
live as long as I do, you've had 5 different lives, 4 or
You
5 different husbands, whatever.
You have had such an amazing life and you've worked the entire time.
I've been working since I'm 13.
I mean, I was literally thinking about like how long you've worked, and it's inspiring for me because, sometimes you're like, how long am I going to do this for? How long is this,
Well,
and you're like, but it gives me so much life. And I do also love it so much. It's just, you go through these ebbs and flows.
I know. And everyone seems to think you're finished by the time you're 60. And
Right.
I don't think so. I mean,
No.
you are if you feel like you are. You were probably
Right.
finished at 40, but
Yeah.
I mean, I feel sorry for people that say, I can't wait to retire. I I I don't know what I would do. What would I do if I got up in the morning? I mean, I would do my artwork, but then I would want people to share it. So then I would be just selling my artwork. But
Right.
I'd always be doing that sort of thing because I've seen people quit and they just age so quickly and they become cranky and they have nothing to talk about and everything is miserable. I don't want to be that person ever.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that. And I think, being challenged, being stimulated, being like where you're constantly learning and growing and evolving and progressing, like making progress, whether, with your business, with new designs, seeing people get excited, building new relationships, like all of that is so life-giving.
And what's really nice is I take really young girls that usually are not terribly educated and mentor them into something really amazing.
Yes, like the ones that are
There's
making your jewelry.
the ones that are making my jewelry, the ones that are selling my jewelry. They really work hard and they love it. And we listen to music and we dance and we have lunch together. We make great lunches in the kitchen. It's really fun.
Do you guys work from your home?
I didn't always. I had a big studio in the Santa Monica airport, but ICE came and raided the building. And not that I have anyone undocumented working for me. I didn't like the whole thing was just so offensive. And we left 2 weeks later, put everything in storage. We've been working at home and now we're looking for a studio.
Good for
So,
you. Wow, I
I
was thinking,
mean,
but do you like working from home? Because I would think that part might be kind of, is it
I love
no?
working from home, but
I was
it's
gonna
too
say it's
many
probably kind of
people.
nice
There's people everywhere.
everywhere. Yeah, so you kind of have to create a little bit of a,
Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out a different, little different thing. But yes, I'll
yeah.
always have a studio at home.
Amazing, Paula.
Thank you so
All
much.
right, bye, Paula.
Thanks for the interview. Bye bye.
Thanks for joining me on the Style and Soul podcast. I hope today's conversation left you inspired to look deeper, not just at the brands you love, but the stories and the people behind them. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a review. This podcast is produced by Oleg Livitz and edited by David Strutt. Until next time, stay curious, stay inspired, and keep building your life with style and soul.